This video is sponsored by Deep Cut Studios. For a wide range of fantastic gaming resources such as battle mats, dice trays and pre-painted bases, check out the description below.
My friend, have you had a chance to visit captivating Salvage and Logistics? That little shop run by the kinda looking old man Leviticus? A place where you can hire people to do small jobs, or find all sorts of knickknacks from the wastes of Malifaux. And if you're in the know, find things that the guild might not be so keen on you having. Things like the Ashen Core, a piece of once lost arcane technology that Leviticus has found and somehow bent to his will. Now I'm not sure what it was originally used for, but right now, it's a repository of souls. But don't think of it as any old soul stone, because the Ashen Core is very much alive. A thing with a malevolent will that is always aimed to add more souls to its collection. Now, if it was known that Leviticus was in possession of a creature such as the Ashen Core, it would cause him quite a bit of trouble. Most of the time, he is able to deflect suspicion with his pleasant outward demeanor, but there are always folks who dig a little deeper than they should. These people eventually, disappear, but they don't wind up in a shallow grave somewhere. Leviticus has a much worse fate for them, transforming the poor fools into pathetic creatures known as hollow waifs, an empty husk with barely a soul flickering within. Now, not all of his victims became hollow waifs. Some were unfortunate enough to be cobbled together into creatures known as abominations, a gruesome thing of salvaged machine parts and human limbs that aggressively protect their horrible master. And on occasion, if there are enough of these creatures around, and something triggers the process, they might tear each other apart. But this isn't a fight, it's a birth. As the abominations combine together one shredded piece at a time into a horrible entity known as a Desolation Engine, not only more powerful than its dead abomination parents, but also able to heal wounds inflicted on it with horrifying speed. Now, although Leviticus has done a good job so far of keeping his activities secret, the recent tightening of guild authority in Malifaux City has constrained him a bit. Thankfully, a relatively new community in the Badlands called Freehold might give him the freedom he needs to do his work. He has already started setting up a branch of his company in the area, and has one of his employees hiring and managing the scavengers going there for work. His protege, Rusty Alice, one of the few people Leviticus actually trusts, even though she is a tad bit impulsive, antisocial, and possibly, insane. While not busy dealing with the expansion of his business into Freehold, Leviticus continues his search through the wastelands of Malifaux, and it isn't just to find more interesting things to bend to his will. You see, my friend, despite his ability to resurrect, it isn't efficient magic. He loses a little, something with each rebirth. Every time he gets a new body, it's a little bit worse than it was before, and breaks down just a little bit faster. He knows that one day, he may find himself on his final body, waiting for the cold hand of the Grim Reaper to squeeze the life out of him. Until that time comes, though, he continues his search, going through as many ruins, strongholds, and bodies as necessary to gain the true immortality he seeks.
Hi guys, and welcome back to our Malifaux Masters Breakdown, where we showcase the factions and personalities vying for soulstones and dominance within the Broken City. Today's episode features the Outcast owner of the Salvage and Logistics operation, Leviticus, and his Amalgam keyword. Levy and Pals are well known as the premier damage dealers within Malifaux, who are able to surgically remove key pieces of opposing forces with potent attacks and reactions. Once the threats have been cleared, the Amalgam can then ensure that their schemes can be scored unopposed. Principal amongst the weapons of this crew is their access to irreducible damage, featured in abilities such as the unmade Tome Trigger on defense and willpower duels to ping the damage to the attacker after resolving. This damage pressure is also shown in the Entropy 3-inch aura, which can again deal damage to enemies that activate near one of your Amalgam models. Leading the charge is the controversial Tinkerer Leviticus, a potent beatstick master who can avoid death through the sacrifice of his hollow waif totems thanks to the Pariah's Soul Demise ability, potentially giving him 2 extra lives to alleviate his defense 5 and 10 wounds. Levy's famed attack actions both deal irreducible damage with a range of excellent triggers on each, especially the Necrotic Decay on his Death Touch to up the hit to min 4 damage at a cost of 2 health. Speaking of sacrificing health, the channel ability allows Leviticus to suffer irreducible damage in exchange for the focus condition, while his Ruinous Repairs trait will go some way in offsetting damage through healing when nearby enemies suffer the effects of Unmade or Entropy. Levy is the scalpel of the crew, combining his bonus action and channel ability to ensure that he can deal big damage to enemy Soulstone users with little resistance in return. Accompanying their master into battle are the aforementioned Hollow Waifs, a pair of insignificant minions that act as secondary spawning points for their master's demise ability. The Waifs do possess some interesting interactions with the injured condition, able to dish it out through Entropic Siphon or remove it in return for damage through pain transfer. The Amalgam's sole henchman choice is the rightly feared Rusty Alice, a slow but potent gun platform who can fire her min 3 damage Clockwork Seeker 3 times a turn thanks to the rapid fire ability. Alice's skill at forcing soulstones or card discards through her execute trigger can keep the pressure on enemies, while her create trap bonus action and Clockwork Arm melee attack can both add the injured condition for easier attacks. Finally, Alice herself can discard a card to heal through Aetheric Healing, meaning that she should be relatively survivable with the addition of her armor and soulstone use. Onto Enforcers then, and we have the flank dominator known as Ashes and Dust, a fast, tanky beater who can ignore enemy conditions through the Nihilism ability, while also ignoring terrain and models when moving as a result of Savage Winds. The Possessed Storm can mimic its master with the Necrotic Decay trigger on its Deadly Claws attack, and also possesses its own unique demise ability which splits its essence into 2 entities until they're able to again reform and continue the rampage. An alternate option is the community voted Marlena Webster, an excellent support piece in a crew built on taking damage. What Marlena lacks in crew universal abilities she more than makes up for with her own unique skill set. The Withering Away aura turns off enemy healing within 3 inches, while Soul Tether allows her to take damage for non-minion allies. Both Steadfast Protector and her defensive trigger make use of her Lumbering Teddy Steed, which can dish out a respectable damage with its Deadly Claws thanks to a 2-4-5 damage track. Expect Marlena to be a high priority for enemy forces during the early turns. Moving over to minions, we have the hulking beast known as the Desolation Engine, a terrifying 12 bag of wounds that can feature the same Necrotic Decay trigger built into its Stat 6 Deadly Claws attack, which can also offer healing with Consuming Touch. The Flurry trait allows the brute to pitch a card to attack an additional time, meaning its charges can be devastating. Should the Desolation Engine fall, it leaves behind an Abomination, a minion 8 model that can also be summoned by Leviticus through his Desolate Warping triggers after killing. The Abomination is serviceable for 4 Soulstones, with its most notable abilities being Withering Away and Vile Reclamation bonus action to impart injured once again. Next up we have the 6 Soulstone Scavengers, great support pieces that are able to output moderate damage both at range and in melee. Tools for the Job is one of the most appealing abilities available, where you can draw the top card of your discard pile in exchange for a card in hand, gaining the suit of the discarded card for the rest of the turn. The Scavenger's signature ability is its Weird Device action, which can add focus and a wide variety of effects based on the triggers on every suit. This action can ensure that your heavy hitters reach their highest damage tracks in later activations, making it a good early option. Finally, there's the exceptional resurrectionist schemer known as the Necropunk, who shares a keyword with the Transmortis crew of Von Stuck. With 6 wounds, armor, and hard to wound, the Necropunks take more damage than expected, and thanks to their elite bonus action are able to rapidly secure strat and scheme points along the battlefield's wings. The Amalgam keyword is durable, hard-hitting, and surprisingly maneuverable across the board. As can be expected, they excel in strat and scheme pools that reward targeted killing and widespread damage, which is often guaranteed thanks to the irreducible nature. Levy's demise ability can be used for massive reposition thanks to his waifs, meaning that you can focus on limiting key pieces in early turns before shifting to another side of the battlefield to score the last VPs. This is echoed by the contextually strong wingers in Ashes and Dust and Necropunks, who can both deny and score key schemes easily against most enemy flankers. While card intensive, it can be very difficult to keep the Amalgam crew at low health levels for scoring thanks to the ample healing that they're able to lean on both in keyword and through versatile options, meaning certain schemes can be annoyingly just out of reach in most games. However, if you do find yourself on the wrong side of Salvage and Logistics, then fear not, there are steps you can take to reduce their overall effectiveness. First and foremost is the use of stones and abilities to force negative damage flips and mitigate the benefits of the focus condition and peak damage tracks. Attacking Levy's control hand can also leave his crew at the mercy of the Fate deck, which can interrupt plans and take away guaranteed triggers and effects. Additionally, due to the setup needed by certain models through the injured condition or healing, opponents who can disrupt positioning through burial, leaps and terrain markers stand a better chance of interrupting the Amalgam plans before they strike. So if you're looking to give Leviticus a test drive, then consider the following example list, making use of a solid core and excellent scheming options on the flanks. Use Levi, Alice, the Scavenger and Marlena to hold down the centre of the board and dish out damage, while Ashes and Dust and the Necropunk skulk around the side scoring key points. Keep your wave safe and in position to respawn your master after the consequences of his inevitable charge into your enemy's front lines. So that brings us to the end of this Malifaux Master breakdown. We hope it's been useful in giving you a snapshot of the crew and its mechanics. A massive thank you to the vocal talents of the wonderful Arvandus during the video's intro. You can find more of his excellent lore content in the links in the description below. For more talk about Malifaux and its masters, why not check out our podcast, The Harlefaux Show, where we break down each keyword and why you should play it. Alternatively, we have a wealth of beginner-friendly battle reports here on the channel that guide players through every flip and decision. Whichever you choose, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, folks. Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching our videos. It means the world to us. If you want to see some more, they should be over here. If you want to support this channel, keep these lights on. You can find links to our Patreon and merchandise in the description below. Take care.